Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming to our YouTube channel of Northern Teaching A+. Today, this is the first video. I'm very excited because this is the first video of our series of the peoples of St. Theresa Point.
Oh, then kaming gansunwat.
And so today, we are very blessed to have an elder and somebody very special to me, Nelliane Cromarty. And she's going to be talking with us about her experiences and being part of St. Theresa Point and her culture language program that she's developing here, because the local language is being lost due to colonization and residential schools. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that, and also about the spirit and the wonderful energy that is here in St. Theresa Point, and the teamwork and things like that make it such an amazing, resilient community. So, Nelliane, can you tell us when you were born and where you were born?
I don't remember when I was born. Anyways, my name's Nelliane Cromarty. I'm originally within the St. Theresa Point First Nation. I was born on the trap line 77 years ago. In the early part of my life, I spent on trap line with my parents. And we lived with nature as I was growing up. We lived with family. We had a big extended family that we traveled with as we were going around through the trap lines. My dad was a trapper and a fisherman. Anything that we can survive on, he did it. Hunting everywhere with a group of other people. That's how we lived. The only time we came back to the community was in the summertime and Christmas time. The only time we did have houses here in the community, but most of the time we spent it out the land. However, when we started school, we had to stay most of the time just to go to school. My brothers and sisters. When I started school, I remembered my dad had an accident and he was in the hospital for a long time. My mom and the whole family had to stay in the community because we couldn't go out into the trap line because my dad was ill. And throughout the year, we went to school, most of my family members. And that ended our life as trappers. This is where we stayed, went to school. And I've seen things happening. Those things that happened to us. I've watched people, because of their life on the land, I've watched people have the kids taken away to go to school. And it was the residential school. They would go very young. However, my family finished school from grade 1, kindergarten, which is, they called it beginners at that time, to grade 8. Because that was the last grade that was taught in the school over here. And after that, my family members, my siblings, they went to residential school. So they couldn't go any further from here. And that's what happened to me. I was 12 when I left here. I finished grade 8. To go to grade 9, I went to 2 residential schools. Uh, the first one I went was Port Alexander Residential School. And the second one was a high school in Winnipeg. Assiniboine High School. So, I finished school. Started training. I didn't really know what I was going to take at that time. It was not hard. I lived to see the age of racism. So, whatever I wanted, there was always an obstacle. Like, also, that what I was really good in mathematics. And I wanted to be an accountant. And I asked them. They told me to go and see where they have accounting courses. And they said, you can't take that because that's only for men.
Oh, racist against men. Women, racist against women.
So they showed
That's
me
terrible.
courses that I can take because I was a woman.
Wow.
And then a group of us from the high school decided, well, we'll take nursing. And we went to apply at nursing. This was a long time ago. And the only school that was available around that time that was available to us was St. Boniface Nursing School. And we were on a waiting list for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So, all of us. So, to keep busy, I went to a commercial college and I took secretarial course, executive secretary course. And I finished that too soon. And then they said, because I had applied for nursing program, they guided me to take some university courses. But I went to see the university. Since the first time I was out of there, I was scared of it. All that time I was at home and then residential school. And they wanted to take me to this big place, the University of Manitoba. They took me all through the tunnels and everything. And it's not, I don't want to be here. So I ended up in what is now called University of Winnipeg. It was a normal school.
Normal school. Not so big.
I'm using the technical terms they used at that time. So I took some introductory university courses. I did well. And then after that, to wait out the 2 years to pass, I started working with Indian Affairs in Winnipeg. And just waiting. Of all the group that we were there to go and apply for nursing, only one went back.
Really?
After I started working for Indian Affairs, they told me they needed somebody to come and look and work at the Indian Affairs office that was at Garden Hill. So I came home. And when I got here, apparently a program was being started to introduce the native culture into the schools. I was 22 years old. I was young and ambitious.
She's the hardest worker I know, everyone. She works really, really hard, man.
And anyways, it's never been taught in the schools. And the only ones that were teaching in the schools were nuns. So I started working there uh, as just to introduce that. I had to develop something. I didn't know what to do. And they didn't even have an idea of what, well, they have an idea of what they want to see, but even Indian Affairs didn't really have an idea. So I was lost. And then I started thinking, what can I do? I don't have any material or anything. They were good teachers, though. With teaching, they guided me a lot. And I said to myself, what can I introduce into the school? Being a residential school product, all the things that were happening back in the community were unknown to our education system. So I didn't know what it was. I talked to my mother, and my mother gave me a lot of information what she wants to see. Then she says, why don't you go visit the elders of the community? There were lots at that time. So I did that on my own time. I was at the school during the day, and in the evening I would go talk to the elders. On my very own. Walked, no vehicles around. But the community was small at that time. Our elders were so enthusiastic about that approach. Each of them says they want to see things happening, teaching of the culture. They didn't mention language because language, everybody talked the language at that time. So when Indian Affairs came to see me, they said what we wanted was to make the transition from the language to English easier for the students. You can use your language to them at the same time promote English. And he said, and also what you think is best to be introduced into the schools. So with the help of the elders, I managed to get things going. I wouldn't have never done it if it wasn't for those elders. I didn't do anything by myself. Couldn't. Like I said, I was lost when I started. But as I went along, they helped me along, as well as those teachers that were in the school. So that first year, I was just helping out everywhere just to get started with that program. I was placed in kindergarten with a teacher. It's like an aide today. And because of that experience I had, what I went through, Indian Affairs started training people as aides.
Oh,
Anyways, that first year, I had a pretty good collection of things that the people wanted to see in the school. And also the teachers helped me with what was required to be taught in the school. I never saw a curriculum before that time, school curriculum. And after that, They checked my record and they saw my university. I worked with a teacher that first year. And then they saw my record of the university courses that I took. And then that time to be able to teach without a, a teacher's certificate, you could have a permit. So they gave me a permit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they gave her a permit to go to school. That's cool.
And
To work in the school.
so the teachers I worked with, they said I was ready to do it. So I did. But at the same time, that worked with the development on my own time. And then I continued on, took some training towards getting a teacher's degree. Forgot about my nursing training.
There was no nursing for Nelliane, which maybe is a good thing for all of us because she's been awesome in this school.
And then I managed to get the initial teacher's certificate, which was a great accomplishment for me without planning it.
There you go.
So it didn't take me long to get the teacher's certificate. And then after that, I had to take the degree. And even that degree is obsolete now.
I'm sure it's not obsolete. I'm sure it's fine.
Because it was a long time ago. I've seen a lot of progress from that time on. I still see the things that these elders helped me to introduce into the schools. We moved forward to recognizing our own way of life as it could be very useful for the people, the young people. That continuation of taking the kids to the land and drop lines, learning the culture on the land, that's still going on. However, because of the effort that we had pushed the kids to do in learning the English, most of the kids left their language.
So sad. But now you're trying to do an innovation thing, right?
I'm trying to do the reverse process of the language to be learned back. Because most, like I said before, everybody was talking the language when they started school. Now, hardly anybody talks the language because of the influences that has been brought into the community. The TV and all these gadgets that came in. Everything is in another language, not our language. And that's one of my greatest efforts is to develop things that the kids can use to learn the language back. And also to encourage the people to talk to their language. Because what happened at that time, people were so eager to have their kids learn things, even the ones that couldn't talk English. And they wanted to help. So what they did, they tried to talk to the kids in English.
Not in the language,
yeah,
and now we
even
need
the
them to do the opposite. Speak to your
Now
son.
it's the other way around. I'm trying to encourage the elders to talk in the language. So that's about it.
So, Nelliane, what is your official title in the
I'm
school?
a language and culture consultant, and we're working, me and my other assistant. We're working on developing material for the school to use in the future, all in the language.
Now, you need to tell everyone she's part of in Manitoba, there's 7 important elders in all of Manitoba from the different places like Dakota and Cree and stuff like that from the different communities, right?
All of Manitoba.
And so
there's 7 languages in Manitoba. There's Cree, there's Ojibwe, there's Métis, there's Dakota, Sioux, and Dene, and Inuit, and then our language. Our language has only 4 communities, and we sort of got left behind with the development of material because there's only 4 of us in Manitoba, 4 communities. There's 4 communities around this island: Lake, Garden Hill First Nation, Waskaganish First Nation, Red Sucker Lake First Nation, and then St.Theresa Point First Nation. Even those names, we're changing them to our language. We're in the process of changing it and getting it officiated through the government level.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the instigators.
She's actually, you guys, she's very humble, but she's actually going around the world. I mean, they've been to what? UK, Switzerland, Italy,
Norway,
New York, right?
Yeah.
Where else?
All over.
New Zealand. They're going all over the world working with linguists and giving training to people on the language here and and working with people to build the language. Because, of course, it's like an oral language, right? So now they're doing the written part, right?
Yeah, we have to develop it. We developed a writing system for our language. We're still working on it.
So that is like an amazing feat. Just think, whoever started, French or Arabic or English, they had to learn to write. She's actually the person who's doing it. Like, yay! Like, yeah. So she's making a huge difference for.
Actually, I'm not the one that's doing it. I promote it.
Yeah, she promotes it, but
I utilize all the people I can get that I feel can do it. I don't want to be the one to decide. Let's do it this way. I just give them that idea. We need this, we need that, we need our own things. That's all I'm doing.
Well, you're working with.
I advocate for everything, even the funding sources. That's why I go around all over the place. And also in Manitoba, these 7 elders that we have were called the grandparents of the languages. And there's 7 of us, and each of us speak a different language, the language that we're representing. And they're from different communities. These are elders. Not all of them are educated. They just have their own education that they got from their culture. And that's the way it is, because they've learned what we call the syllabic way of writing. It's easy to work with it because I know how to write that syllabics. Syllabics is not our own writing system. It was introduced to us. It was brought over here through the missionaries. So we're now studying it. I've done a lot of studying thanks to the technical devices that are here now. When I first started, I wish I had I wish I had recorders. I never recorded those people that I worked with first time. I was poor. I'm still poor.
You were still poor, and she's asking about how much the photocopier costs. Yeah, we're still all poor.
I want the color.
She wants a color copier for her work in her with doing because there's a lot of copies and creating books with the wording. Her and her daughter Tanya McDougall is also working on this innovation project with her mom here, and they even went to the UN and things like that to talk about the language. So there's a lot of work to do, and she's doing an amazing job with all the elders. I believe the whole community, Nelliane has the whole community working together, right? It's like together they work strong, right? So we're honored.
If it was only for me, I don't think any of this thing would be here.
But we're doing it for the children of St.Theresa Point, right? And
when I first started in 1969, I was the first Native teacher to be Native person to work within that school as an instructor. But now the school is full of Native people.
Now it's actually really changed. There's only 6 of us from away.
And I thought it would be easier. But not all of us are interested in the development. It's much easier to just follow the curriculum page by page. Not their fault. That's what they were trained. We don't have that. We're still working with the elders organization from Manitoba to develop a teachers training program, an Aboriginal training program. It has been submitted a few times and given back to us, but we're not giving it.
No, I'm sure that proposal will come through. I'm almost positive. I'm sure it's just a matter of finding the right person to fund it. But it will happen because in St. Theresa Point here, a lot of amazing things are happening. They're getting a master's program for a whole bunch of stuff on inclusion and stuff like that. And they're doing, I believe, more conferences for everyone on the language here, right? This is one coming up for all the staff here. And they're inviting other people, I'm sure. But it was an honor. We only touched with this video 1 about Nelliane, but we're going to be doing more in our series, and we'll do more with Nelliane if she'll let us about more stories from her past and about the community, because it's about to give us insight into this amazing little community and the people here. So thank you. It was a real honor. She's our very first one on the video.
I am very honored for things like that, to share what I have, what I know, what I've experienced. However, it's a long life. I am now 77 years old, and a lot of people says, why don't you write a book so people can learn from your experiences? I said, I don't have time. And I will be running out of time.
Well,
I told my former students, I said, why don't you guys settle down and write a book about me, what you know about me? I don't have time to write a book about myself. I would rather write things that will actually help within the school.
Yeah, but even having the story here, we're going to publish this YouTube video, and hopefully people will write comments and respond and please share this video if you like it with other people, so everyone can see our journey together in St. Theresa Point.
Why I agreed to this, I feel that people that come into this community are not aware of what is going on with the people that are living in this area. We're having a very unique place we call home. We have a lot of difficulties, but we're not We don't give up on anything. We just keep on surviving and trying to keep what we're trying to keep whatever we have to pass on to the young people. It's very unique. Even the language that we speak is a unique language. That's why I'm trying to advocate it to make it stronger because it's really dying off fast. Sorry.
So we'll continue this and episode keep going, and we'll have Nelliane back. So thank you so much. It's a real honor to have you.
I hope to some people who are interested in teaching Native children will be aware to try and find out who these people are prior to going into the teaching.
Thank you. And it was an honor. We will see you again. Bye for now. If you like this video, please like, please share, and leave comments.